Hello guys, and welcome back to Road America for episode 32 in this Project Cars career mode. This is going to be the 18th race of the season here, second to last race, and I have to say this is actually the first time ever that I'm driving this track here, so I'm very eager to see what is going to happen here today. Obviously I've put in a few practice laps here, but you know, practice and race, two very different things here. Looking forward to it. All right, traffic out of the way here. Hopefully we're going to be getting some clean air. I'm kind of starting to think a little bit ahead as what we are going to be doing in Season 3 here. And I kind of wonder, one of the reasons that I actually managed to take the championship here this season is because it was a little bit too easy to stay consistent probably. Obviously in Formula 1 you'd have like 3 or 4 cars that would be competing for the win each and every race here, but supposedly here in Formula A all cars are pretty much similar and at the same level here, so all comes down to qualifying really. In some races one guy is going to be strong, in another race it's going to be another guy here, but the only real common denominator here has been the fact that we have been fairly consistent at the front for most of this season here. So I'm thinking we need to lay down a set of ground rules here for at least qualifying in Season 3. Otherwise it's going to be way too easy to qualify at the front of the grid and, you know, consistently finish at the front of the grid, which is what won us the championship this year here. Anyway, provisional pole here today. I see no reason to try and improve on this lap, and there is no reason to either, as we start at the front of the grid here for tomorrow's race. Peter Monroe in second, Andy Smith in third, and as a matter of fact, their Mr. Consistency, Christian Borgens, is way down in ninth. So here we are, ready to get out of the gate here, waiting for the lights. The weather forecast for today's race is a heavy cloud cover, and I got a nasty feeling we might be seeing some rain or worse here today. Anyway, there you go. 3 red lights, 1 green there. Peter Monroe making an absolute cracker of a start there. We're pretty much standing still there, but managed to get the car up to speed there by the help of Kurz and an open DRS. Coming into turn 1 there, we managed to reclaim first. Peter Monroe getting a little bit too much of the curb there. Almost, I'm not really sure whether or not that was Frank Landron. He almost ran off the track there. We take full advantage of that coming into turn 3, extending the gap here as we head down this sort of downhill straight, this back straight that becomes Moraine Sweep. There's a very nasty left-hander here as you come down the hill here. You brake very late for this one, have to take the inside line here, otherwise you're just going to be swamped by AI cars. We managed to handle that one nicely. Somebody's going off track there. If you look in the right mirror, I don't know if you caught it, but somebody was way off track there, and as you can see on the mini-map, somebody's standing still. I'm thinking somebody had an accident. Let's have a look. Here we go. Yeah, Christian Borgens getting way too much of the curb there, losing control of the car into the tires there. Oh! And there comes his teammate, Florian Maslett, both the Silver Spark cars. Let's have a look there. That's pretty much a carbon copy of what happened to Christian Borgens there. The exact same mistake. And both the Silver Spark cars are out of the race here on lap 1. And I'm thinking there might be a very agitated team boss in the Silver Spark pit right now. Coming through carousel here, this sweeping right-hander. We're opening up a nice gap there down to the number 2 car, Peter Monroe. He's almost a full second down on us right now. And coming into this forest-like section here, through the kink, down into the kettle bottoms here. This is actually sort of pretty much like a straight, really, as you're going flat out the entire way. And coming through this right-hander here, this is the Canada corner. Down into 3rd gear, usually with a lighter car, you can take this in 4th. And coming back into the daylight here, almost getting blinded a little bit here, actually. We still have a nice 1 second gap there down to Peter Monroe. Coming through the last turn here, out on the main straight. Lap 1 status, we managed to reclaim P1 there after losing it initially to Peter Monroe there. And both the Silver Spark cars there, Florian Maslett, Christian Borgens, are out of the race. Jumping ahead to lap 3 here, no real change overall. Peter Monroe still in P2, about a second down on us. But as you can see on the mini-map there's kind of a school of cars, about 3 or 4 cars that have sort of broken away from the main pack. And my initial guess is we are going to be finding the winner of today's race among those 4 cars here. Have to say, so far I'm very happy with the setup of the car. even though we're kind of fuel heavy right now. As you can see, we run a little wide here in the left-hander, but no biggie there. We're not going to be losing any major time over that. I think the car is handling nicely, and as long as the tires hold up, I expect us to be competitive with the AI here. Lap 7, pretty much a deja vu here, as we still have Peter Monroe in P2, about a second and a half down on us right now. And I don't know if you noticed, but we seem to pull away from him dramatically there on the main straight. We're running a very low wing setup here, and as such, we do seem to be pulling away from the AI out, running a little wide there, getting too much of the curve, but we do seem to pull away from the AI on the straight parts of the track here, and they seem to close the gap a little in the slow corners. Jumping straight ahead to lap 8, as you can see, we are now seeing some rainfall on the track here, and as I've been talking about before in this series here, it's very, very difficult here in Project Cars to actually judge the track conditions based on what the track and what the weather looks like in general, because as you can see here, there's still plenty of sun. The track conditions are by no means horrible, but still, we're coming in on the very next lap here. Nice pit stop there. All right, so we're coming in on the very next lap here. We're going for a set of wet tires here, even though the conditions would probably be for intermediates more than wet tires here, but I'm having trouble judging when to put on what compound here. So we're going for the full wets, and hopefully that's going to prove to be the right choice here. Anyway, we are rejoining the track in P1 here, coming out of what is probably the longest pit lane in human history. Jumping right ahead to lap 11 here, coming down into Moraine Sweep. It does appear that we made the right choice in sticking with the full wets, because as you can see, the rain is coming down a lot harder at this point here, and the track conditions aren't very good, but we are experiencing some good handling here from the car. It does appear that everything is the way it should be, and we probably picked the right compound. On a side note there, we now have Andy Smith in P2. He's about 10 seconds down on us right now, so I'm not really sure what happened to Peter Monroe, whether or not he's out of the race, whether or not he had an accident there. Right now, we have Andy Smith in P2. Lap 13, as you can see, coming into Canada Corner here, the track conditions have gone from bad to worse. The weather is absolutely horrible at this point. We run very wide as we're experiencing loads of understeer at this point here. And as you can see, the visibility is down too. This has pretty much turned into a rainstorm. And unfortunately, it does appear that Andy Smith is a very accomplished wet weather driver, as he's close the gap to about 6 seconds on us. Jumping ahead to lap 15 here, we are still maintaining a nice gap down to Andy Smith there in second position, but he is closing the gap about a second per lap right now. As I said earlier in the race, we're running a very low wing setup, and that is starting to hurt us here as the rain is intensifying here. We're still very fast on the straight parts of the track, but we're starting to suffer in the turns. Loads of understeer here, and Andy Smith is starting to take advantage of this. Lap 18 coming through Moraine Sweep one more time into turn 5 here. Just almost losing the rear end there. Loads of oversteer. The front end just getting a little bit too much grip there, and the rear end just wants to step out. And also we're getting the message there that we need to cool the brakes. I'm not really sure what to do. We need to brake, and whether or not they're going to be holding up for the kind of treatment that we're putting into them right now, I'm not really sure. The problem is Andy Smith is closing the gap still, as he's only about a second and a half down on us right now. And as you can see, every time we hit a slow turn, we are losing tenths of a second here. Coming through the carousel here, very, very difficult to keep the car on the track here. The front end just wants to go straight on ahead. Coming out of carousel here, need to get on the throttle, get some distance between. Whoa, yeah! Are you kidding me?
Box now, box now. Come in and we'll try and get you back.
Getting too much of the curb there. I'm not really sure what happened, but as it does appear here on the replay. As you can see, we just get a little bit too much of the curb and the front end just loses grip right on turn-in, leaving us nowhere to go than into the tires there. And I have to say, at least at Watkins Glen, we managed to make a spectacular crash out of it. It wasn't entirely our fault, but here today, complete rookie mistake. No one to blame but us. And I guess we're just going to have to take this one and chalk it right up to experience. At any rate, guys, even though this race ended prematurely, if you did enjoy it, please don't forget to leave a like or subscribe to this channel for more Project Cars action. And I'll be back soon enough. Bye-bye.